Hayes, Entertainment exclusive.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. I never stop. I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
This is I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. We are going live.
Dekanich will hang on.
Deck. Hey, Mark.
Going on?
Not much, man. Thanks for taking the time to come on with us today. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We're just going to ask you a couple questions about your career and stuff.
Sure.
Deck Show. Where'd you get the nickname and who started it?
Started in college, I think my freshman year. One of my teammates just called me the Deck Show, probably because I was like a little bit of an entitled prick. So it turned into a big thing, but yeah, it's stuck ever since then. So it's been good.
Awesome. When you were drafted to Nashville, where were you and how did you find out?
Oh man, this is a good story. So I was that year's draft was like my third year of eligibility. So I was really old for the draft. I had a sick year my second year of college, but the draft was in Vancouver, which is amazing. It was like my hometown, but I agreed to do an internship in Wellesley, Mass after my sophomore year of college. So I wasn't even in Van. I was in Mass just hanging out that night. I got a text message from my roommate actually from school saying congratulations. I didn't even know what he was talking about because we didn't have internet at our apartment. And like 2 minutes later, my agent called me and said I got picked. So it was pretty cool. Dream come true at that time.
Absolutely. That's a great story. From college hockey to AHL and NHL, what would you say the biggest difference was?
I think mostly it was the depth. Like when I finished school, when my senior year season ended, I got to go to Milwaukee for a week just to like skate with the ads and stuff before I turned pro. And I was like, the best players on my college team were like the bottom end of the American League guys. So just like that jump in skill level across the board was pretty big. When you get into like American League versus National League, it's less of a jump than people think. I think, like there's just so few spots, especially now. There's so many good players. But there are lots of guys that are playing in the American League and they're sort of buried there, but they could be playing in the NHL.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. You still own the record in Milwaukee for both save percentage and goals against. That's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah. Had a couple good years there, especially my third season pro when I set all those records. I actually broke my own record of save percentage from my rookie year. So, you look at some of the goalies who played there. I was in pretty good company. I held the record. I broke like Chris Mason's record for longest shutout streak too at some point. I think it might have been broken actually by now. But yeah, had fun playing there. It was a great city and had some good experiences.
Yeah, I believe that. Who are your biggest influences in your career?
Away from hockey, my parents, just hardworking people. I can't thank them enough for all the opportunities that they gave me over the course of my playing career and my life. Talking about hockey, like when I was a kid, I loved Curtis Joseph and Felix Potvin. I don't know why. I had a penchant for Leafs goalies for some reason. Yeah. But when those two guys were playing for the Leafs, they were sick, and I loved them both. Had posters in my room and all that.
That's awesome. Those were two good goalies for sure. But I don't know about being a Leafs goalie.
Hey, what's your Brad May story? You were telling me off the air that you had a Brad May story.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't remember it because he's played over 1,000 games in the show. Anyways, I think his last year pro when he was in Grand Rapids a little bit, I was playing in Milwaukee. It was my second year pro. And like, I remember this because he's an NHL legend. So remember there's like a scrum in front of the net and I had covered the puck and one of their guys was like down in front of me after I got bumped and stuff. And I sort of like held his head down and he came up and his helmet popped off and sure enough, it's Brad May. And I was like, oh no, this was a big mistake. Anyways, he starts screaming at me like he's going to kill me and all this stuff. And to this day, like my buddies just love that story because he played for the Canucks and he's like an NHL legend. So Brad May he told me he's going to try and kill me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you ever have a goalie fight in your career?
No, never.
Would you want to?
No, I can't ruin this thing,
That's right.
Yeah, you got all the cushion with that beard. I wish I had something like that. I can't even grow hair on my head.
Oh, dude, I'm the same as you.
Oh, there you go.
That's this is what I have to make do with.
Yeah.
Why do you wear 31?
I used to wear 1 in college, and my first year pro, my partner Drew McIntyre, who's actually still playing, he's like, I don't know, it's got to be his, 17th, 18th year pro. He wore 1, so they just were like, here you go, you're wearing 31. I was okay with it. And
I think he was on Canucks farm team a couple years ago.
What's that?
I think McIntyre was on the Canucks farm team a couple years ago.
Yeah, he played for the Manitoba Moose when they were affiliated with the Canucks. Like, that was before I even turned pro. I think that was the year before he signed with Milwaukee. He actually had a really good year that year. I think he won 30 games or something with Manitoba, and then we were partners my first year pro.
Do you keep in touch with many of your teammates?
Not really. I keep in touch with my college classmates quite a bit. Like, I'd say every week we sort of touch base. Couple of the guys over the years in pro I still keep in contact with, but it's tough when everyone's so spread out and guys start having kids and stuff and everyone's lives are busy.
Do you have a favorite sports hero?
Felix the Cat, man.
Yeah, Felix Potvin.
Guy was a stud. I
Yeah.
loved his equipment, loved his helmet, and he was nasty back in the day.
What are you doing these days after retiring in 2018?
I started my own business, so I'm doing strength and conditioning stuff, one-on-one personal training. Obviously, I ended up dealing with a lot of goalies, which is great because I think I understand the demands of the game more than most people because I did it for so long. But I'm really enjoying it. I've got some parents that come in too, so it's been a lot of fun.
What do you think makes a good captain?
I mean, obviously, if you think about like wording, leadership comes to mind, but it's something that it's a quality that you can't really measure, like it's a universal respect of all your teammates and other players in a league that gives somebody that quality. And so with that comes leading by example on and off the ice, all that type of stuff. And just being loved by all your teammates.
You had Roman Josi play with you as well when you were in Milwaukee, correct?
Yeah.
Must have been nice having him in front of you. He's a good defender.
Yeah, he turned out to be a pretty good player.
Yeah, he did.
First and second year pro maybe is when I was still playing with him. Yeah, I mean, everyone knew he was a stud back then. They're just trying to groom him in the minors and give him a lot of playing time, and it obviously worked out great for him and for the organization.
What's your favorite type of music, and what's your favorite song?
I'm more of a rap and hip hop guy.
Yeah.
Like some R&B and stuff like that, but I'll listen to pretty much everything except for country. I don't really have a favorite song.
Who's your favorite hip hop artist? Then you got me entertained here. I'm a hip hop guy, so.
I'm like an old school guy. I like
Tupac.
old Eminem, although I still like I like his new stuff too, but Eminem, Jay-Z, that type of era.
So were you Biggie or Tupac?
I mostly listened to Tupac back then, but I do like Biggie's stuff too.
Yeah.
And I can't forget to mention, I might get hated for this, but Ja Rule, man, I love that guy. I had all of his CDs.
Yeah.
This is way before Fire Festival stuff, so before he was stealing people's money, but I like that guy's music from back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. Ja Rule had nothing but hits and like hits after hits after hits, and then 50 came along and just squashed them. Like I agree that I grew up in that era too, where Ja Rule was awesome, but then 50 came along and just crushed them.
What's your favorite sports movie and favorite sports quote?
Oh man, I don't even like sports, guys. I'll go with the universal hockey player answer, Mystery Alaska, for movie, and I don't know about a sports quote.
Okay. Did you have any pregame rituals before you went on the ice?
Yeah, I like it. It constantly evolved year to year, but like I'd always get dressed the same way, left side first. I'd set out my stall before every practice and game exactly the same way. So like I'm a creature of habit, like a lot of goalies, right? Really, really type A, need to be prepared for anything. So really habitual in that sort of getting dressed, set up, all that.
Yeah, the goalies are usually known as the crazy ones in the locker room. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm psycho.
Well, I mean, if you want to stand in net and let people hit you with pucks all day, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah, my mom always said that. You're just like, you're crazy, man, and I can't blame her. I hope my kids play golf or something.
It must be hard on parents, especially being a goalie. I mean, like you're like, oh man, this kid's gonna let in some goals today. It's like at least if you're playing forward, it's like, oh, my kid just scored a goal. It's a positive, right? It's always basically negative in your net unless you get a shutout.
That's it. Yeah, it's so tough. That's what I mean. I hope my kids choose golf or something like that. And I retired before they even knew what was going on, so that's like a positive that I have.
Did you have a song you listened to pregame?
I almost like kept I used to have when I was playing in Milwaukee. I remember this. I used to have one of those little iPod shuffles, like the little square ones. It was tiny, and so it only held like 100 songs or something. I just had the crappy one, and I'd like set it at the start of the year, and I just keep the same playlist for the whole year, and it was all that same old school stuff. A little bit of Linkin Park sprinkled in too.
Yeah, see, I'm a big 90s hip-hop guy, so I grew up on that stuff. So I still listen to that because nowadays hip-hop sucks.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, definitely. Too many people telling on people or just mumble rapping and talking about doing pills.
Yeah, it's terrible.
They, who in the music industry would you say is your favorite artist out of anyone?
Oh man. Again, I'll go with Eminem. I think the guy's just like done a great job evolving throughout his whole career. He's dealt with a lot of demons personally. I think that he's overcome and paved the way for a lot of people. And I just really like his music.
And even his sober music, like now that he's sober, he's been sober 12 years, and now even his music now is still good. I still listen to the new stuff. That Murdered by Numbers CD was great.
Yeah, I like it. I like his new stuff. I like his old stuff. A lot of people hate on that newer stuff, but I sort of like it.
Yeah, I like to see that he evolved, and now he's sobered up, but it didn't change his attitude. Like his raps are still the same, but maybe like he doesn't do as many weirdo songs like that with that stupid accent, which made for him that made him lots of money because that's what his gig was in the whole 2000s.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a legend. Dex, we really appreciate you coming on today, man. We thank you very much. It's great to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for taking the time. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Thanks for taking the time.
See you guys.
Hey, take care.